the only way to start your day.
The day,
And
the
the date.
date, the month, the year, even the time.
Some things hide in the open. So they just elude you.
I don't even have to think about it, and it would be just right there for me.
Yeah.
Yes, so Ndwa Kamanya with you this morning. Getting into a number of things. We have established that everything is okay and everybody's fine. At least we're keeping things at a basic minimum.
Yes.
Joylene is awake, so that's always a good place to start. Mutanu shouted at us today and she said, this is Mutanu shouting, guys, pictures, please. Yeah. So today she's
How
out of
many
her element.
decibels are those?
Like 2.5.
Ah, okay.
She's in her element. She's not. That's the elements. She's like, okay, things are. It's towards the end of the week, so you can imagine. And then you played a song to me this morning that essentially is what is allowing me to speak like this, because I was at the point where I was like, hey God, how am I going to do this day?
You're tempting to say thank you. But don't thank me. Thank the owner of the song. And you can let them know what song it is. We all need it.
Thank you, Jada Monroe. And the song is Keep Going.
Right.
Yeah, I need to listen to it a couple more times.
Please do.
EVE, I think I found the song that could be the cover that I do in the studio. You need to listen to that song, by the way.
Yep.
I think that's the song. I think the reason why I haven't gotten into the studio yet is because, I was looking for the right song. I think JK is on something. I think he's giving me the song that we're going to do. That's the one we're going to do.
You're welcome. The universe is rich.
Thank you, Joe Kamanya. Have we established that everybody's okay? We've also established that our live streams are up on YouTube, Facebook, and on X this morning, and our audience on KTN, Karibu Sana. As you tuned in around the country, the region, and the world, this is the Situation Room. It's Kenya's biggest conversation, and we'll be talking about a number of things today as we get into those conversations. Leo, right? Let me let you know what some of those conversations will be. Yesterday was interesting in the courts, was it not? Where people were saying who showed up, who did not show up, what's wrong with somebody calling their doctor to find out if somebody was okay or not. Those proceedings continue as to whether the impeachment of former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua was actually, as per the book, or whether there were things that happened that should not have happened. So many things going on here and there and everywhere. But for this morning, let's talk about some of the things that we will be discussing. We're going to start off at 7 o'clock with a conversation around Game Plan 2027. As you know, this is something that we're going to be looking to regularly because there's a game plan. What happens when you get onto the pitch is a totally different story.
Right.
So we'll look into some of those things, and we'll do that this morning with Dr. Martin Olo, who is an advocate and political analyst. He'll be joined by Musyoka Kala, who is a lawyer and former CAS in the Ministry of Labour and Social Protection. By-elections litmus test. Is it a litmus test every time when there's a by-election? Because there'll be a couple of them. I can never say it. The place is called Ekur. Decree, exactly. Decree. So there's a by-election that's taking place today, actually.
It's today, right?
It's not today.
It is.
It's today. Yes. And there'll be a couple more over the next couple of months. And then the one for All Kalau that everybody's looking into will be held on the 16th of July.
Right.
So are these actually litmus tests for what will be happening in 2027? When the ground speaks in a particular way, is that the way in which we should look at it? We'll talk about all these things at 7 o'clock with these two gentlemen. They'll join us then. We will then also look into the SHA question. Yikes, it's a big one. Reverend Joseph Karaoke is a vice chairman, Rural and Urban Private Hospitals Association. Getting the system to work for Wananchi. It seems to still be an issue. Let's talk about it. We'll do that at 8 o'clock. And then we'll close things down with Dr. Emmanuel Manyasa, the executive director of the USAWA Agenda. Teen pregnancies and school unrests. Now, 33 students were being presented in court yesterday from Kilifi and Taita Taveta County for unrest. Schools, I think the number of schools now for which there was an arson attempt is now 12 this year in that area.
Right.
Yesterday, we've heard that State House girls been closed indefinitely until they can figure out what's going there. Now, is it a thing where mocks, because we know that mocks are happening now for KCSC, is it a thing where now mocks come into play and as a result of that, people start doing the thing? Or is there something more to this particular story?
You see, in a country where you've had 7 movements in the last 3 years, movements of resistance, movements of agitation, it is only fair to expect that the young ones will replicate what the adults are doing. I think it was during, was it Moi or Kibaki?
Yeah.
There's a time there was a lot of unrest in schools.
Yeah, I think that's the time we saw that big fire, the really bad one. If what I'm reading is correct, because I was not here then, but there's a really terrible one that became like now the mark for this.
And equally,
Changani or something.
Yeah, in Kombani somewhere.
Yes.
And equally, there was a lot of public unrest. So there is a direct correlation, in my opinion, because kids tend to ape what the adults are doing, and they read the environment of the society. But also it is worth looking into, because we need our learning spaces to be safe. And we need to have discipline as well. Mocks are just an examination. I know for them it's a determination of the life after.
It's a big deal, man.
Speaking. But also we need to prepare them well.
This is true. And coupled with the things that we're seeing, that the numbers of of girls who are out of school because they are pregnant, and I don't care what you want to say, a girl in school who's pregnant is pregnant prematurely.
Yes.
Period.
Yeah. Shouldn't be.
No.
Shouldn't be. There's no reason.
There's no reason why a child should be pregnant. It doesn't matter whether it's a, Romeo and Juliet love affair. It doesn't matter whatever it is, whether it's somebody preying on a child. There is no justifiable reason why a child should be pregnant. And we're using the constitutional break-off of 18 years as to say a child. And so to see the numbers of children who are out of school because they are pregnant and now have to be mothers when they are still children, there's a problem.
There is another big problem.
Big issue.
That's why I keep calling for public-funded education, or what you call free education, so that we remove the hurdles. Because what do you hear? That she had to work. She's bribed. She had to go look for food for the family. So poverty plays a role here. But also when you make education so expensive, people find means and ways. And then, you also have perpetrators and predators along the way. But if you make education free, in a manner of speaking, accessible and quality, it makes it more attractive and more easy for the students to go to school. It eases the burden of the parents of having, when you have kids sent away, maybe it's because of development money or bursary was not dispersed on time. But where does the child spend all the time?
There you go.
During the day.
That's
so
it.
They need to be in school. But also as a society, we need to be responsible. Kids need to be taken care of.
Come on. At the very bare minimum.
Yes.
At the very bare minimum, they must be taken care of. And we're not just talking about food, send them to school, shelter, protecting them from this nonsense that goes on. And that by the time we're going to start this thing, the time somebody is looking at a child and feeling as though they can derive some kind of satisfaction, sexually or otherwise, with the child, that person is a deviant. Must be able to protect children from these deviants in society. Male or female. It doesn't matter.
And that's why I still have a strong opinion regarding the pronouncements of the Nairobi appointed nominated senator, regarding the minor who was in parliament. Because in my opinion, I read some sexual connotation in there.
Absolutely.
I wonder why action has not been taken.
And why? And then we made noise about it for 2 days and then it's gone. No,
she needs to go.
Absolutely. That's somebody representing you.
Yes.
Yeah.
We need to protect our children by addressing now such public utterances. That would be a good example.
It will be.
So that everybody can know, even your own words are harmful to the young ones.
They don't protect.
Yes.
They don't protect.
Indeed.
These are fun parts of the conversation that we will be having with Dr. Munyasa at 9 o'clock, and then that comes to the what we'll be talking about today. So karibuni sana. You can already tell that it's going to be an interesting one because there are some issues that are coming out already even before we have the conversation. So karibuni sana, and thank you for joining us this morning. We'll say hello to you in just a minute. But Joe, you know what?
Yebo.
Our proverbs this week come from Eswatini, the kingdom of Eswatini.
Yeah.
I know you've been in the area.
Well, what happens in Eswatini
stays in Eswatini. All right. Let me tell you something.
But there's plenty of sugar plantation.
Sindio? Okay. That's great. It's okay.
Yes.
Let's just leave it at that.
Things are sweet. Okay. In Eswatini.
Sweetini. Swatini.
Yes.
Okay. You might like this one. A roaring lion kills no game.
Ooh. Now, why are you referring to the Kenya-France summit?
I knew it. I knew we were going to go somewhere.
I thought it was done.
It's finished. Everybody's gone back home.
Yeah. You see, All big talk, no action. Ain't that what you're saying?
Yep.
Yeah. So, yes, you can say a lot.
By the time you're roaring, opening your mouth, everywhere.
But if
Can you eat? No.
There you have it. If you don't back it up with your action, it's pointless.
Absolutely.
It's just hot air. It's hot air, actually. Hot air.
That's the real definition
done.
of
hot air.
Okay, you're finished.
Yes.
Yep. You want to be shouting? Come and be doing as well. Very simple.
Yeah,
That you don't have time to be telling everybody, this is what I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to do, or this is what... Do it.
Yeah.
Period. By the time a lion is hunting, they don't have time to be shouting at everybody, telling them that I'm the lion. No, please, just get it done. I guess we can speak to ourselves and we can speak to everybody when we go through that. Sindo?
Yep.
All right. I said our live streams are up. Yes, I did. Live streams are up on Facebook, YouTube, and on X. Our audience on KTN, those who can wave at us and we can't see you, do it. Even if you need to wink in the dark, wink anyway. We'll feel it. Talk to us and tell us where you're tuned in from this morning. I can already see people talking about the conversations that we had yesterday and how they agreed or not agreed. Fantastic. Let's say hello. Say hi to Joe. Joe is here, guys. There's something to be excited about. And then tell us, as you're getting to bed this morning or in the night, depending on where you are, just say hello. Very good morning to you. Tuned in this morning is Shaq Bet. Top of the morning, Spice FM family. And to you too, man. Karibu Sana. George Demo says, good morning. I'm listening from Rongo. It's been raining all night. Did it rain here in Nairobi last night? What's wrong with me? Okay, yeah, okay, but it's raining in different parts of the country. It did rain, didn't it?
It did.
Okay, all right, so I'm not crazy. It did rain. Yes, it did. It started raining from early evening yesterday. Christina says, good morning to you. Amelia Monde, good morning. Amelia, thank you for Amani's birthday wishes. Yes, so our youngest listener of the Situation Room, Joe, turned 4 years old yesterday. Her name is Amani. And you're telling us that you're not hiding Amani. Okay. So you want how you can reach out to you to organize how we go about it. Bas, you know what we're going to do? I don't know now. If I say my number on air now, that would be a problem. But I don't know how I'll reach you. Maybe how Amelia, we'll figure this out, how we can get in touch. Sawa. But yes, she is a custodian over our youngest TSR listener. So we have claimed property.
Okay.
Kimiak says, good morning. You might like Kimiak, Joe. And he says, another fresh day to proclaim that nothing good will come out of the Kenya Concert Administration. Enjoy your money. He's been saying this every day, and I think he's determined. The way you say they're now 63 Sundays, Kimiak is determined to tell us every day that this is the case. He has taken this gospel.
Keep going. We said keep going. It's the spirit. That's the truth.
And Smokey Bandit says, good morning to all and sundry, and says, Kimiak 100%. Yes. Okay. Zach is tuned in this morning and said it's only in Kenya where empty or mitumba boxes are delivered to hospitals in the name of medicines. Oh, Lord, did I miss something? Kiaria Peter says, good morning. Always remember that everything happens for a reason. It might not make sense now, but at the right time, it will. Peter Caricho says, good morning, Spice FM. Just loving the show from Queen Greek, Arizona. Good morning to you guys. Continue doing the good job and best wishes for the day. And to you too, my brother. Thank you. Mashari and Jerry is tuned in this morning and says, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. It is. From Portland with love. Raimtula Omar says, good morning. Tune in from Nairobi. Love your shirt and do thank you very much. And welcome, Joe.
Yebo.
Baba Three Girls says, good morning. Eric Orr says, good morning, guys. Good morning to you. S1B there says, good morning, Spice Fraternity. We are locked in the house. Keep enduring because endurance pays. Good day, all. It definitely does. Isakale says, the room. The room. Every morning's blend is equal parts fuel prices, broken promises, constitutional crises, and just a little garnish of public outrage. Yes. You're asking me, so what? So, what's the mix for our daily dose of anger today? Well,
stick around.
It's not going to be too far from now, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And Joe has that look in his eyes, so yeah, I can assure you there's something's coming. All right. Very good morning to you, Jennifer Attorney says, good morning, Joe, Spice family. Joe, the scarf is gold.
You are. Thank you.
You know what he was doing?
Gracias. I promise.
You promised.
I promised.
And you fulfilled your promise.
Yes.
Yes, you did. Where's my Jirani? Your Jirani, Sasa, we've realized that there are only 24 hours in a day. And the man can only do so much. So if you saw him on your screens last night and the night before, so don't worry, he's come back. Bernard Nyaberry says, good morning. Just the National Treasury, which has refused to disperse money to the counties, or what? Most counties haven't paid their workers. Tell Mbadi, instead of doing politics, he sits down and work. I actually agree with this. And this could be applicable in government, or it could be applicable in the office where you're working, or in your business. You could be roaring like the lion, but guess what? Once you're roaring, you're not hunting. You can be shouting here, politics. Can you imagine you're shouting? And then there are people across the counties who've not been paid because what? Because you've not sent money. How about you go send money? Then when you finish doing your work, you can come and shout. Abi? Okay. I'm just suggesting. Leo says, so the House on the Hill wants 20 billion for 2026-2027 financial year after blowing 17 billion this financial year. Seems chai is more expensive than Uji. Yeah, President Uhuru. It would appear so. Smokey says, how is it a litmus test when UDA and IBC are rigging? Oh, wow. Also, greetings to Josfat. There's your greeting.
Yes.
There it is, Izakale. That's where we're going to start with this morning. How do we know that they're rigging? Okay, we'll get into that. I'm sure that we will this morning. Simon Kibiru says, good morning, Spices. Tuned in from Sultan Hamoud. The only way to start the day is to be tuned into the Situation Room. Have a nice one, Kabisa. Robert Bogo tuned in from Mombasa. Very good morning to you. Mtuflani, good morning, Binti Wamfalme, he says. Joe and the squad. Princess, me, I like thy nails. Oh, asante sana. Mtuflani, ata wea kuja. Osana Emily says, good morning. Good morning to you, Karibu Sana. Christina, you say, I disagreed with Bishop Kiama telling people that you are saved won't wipe out bad. Telling people that you are saved won't wipe out bad governance. Rachel is a pastor, yet mothers and babies are dying. Margaret fought for mothers. Lucy fought for health. Okay, have to fight for something, I guess.
Yeah, but they do have a point. I think there's a very thin line between psychophancy and understanding religion and roles of state. We have to separate the two.
They must be separated.
The state and the church must be separated. So sometimes you see the men of cloth, and I say this with no reservation whatsoever, and we hold them at the pedestal, and yet they are the watchdogs of immorality, some of them, corruption, some of them, poor governance, some of them. And you know, some of them are paid to sanitize the actions of the government.
Yes.
So we have to call them out, those who are not doing what they should be doing. And the church has to be the church, and let the state be the state. If you want to be in governance, or politics as they call it, then decide. But you don't want this ambivalence, fence-sitting kind of a thing, whereby when the country is going down because of poor governance, you come up and say, let's pray for our country. Since when did prayers disclose the public debt audit? I'm done. Let's move. You said it's Thursday.
Izakale, I told you that it was not going to take long, and he already has a furrow in his brow. So, Henry Acceptor said it's another day. It is a new day. Good morning, Spice family. Roll up your sleeves and let's get to work. Twende Kazi, Kabisa. Smokey PC Bandit says, about Nyamu, why her and not Chiragi, the person she was implying would assault the teenager? I don't care. Put both of them in the bin. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Put both of them in the bin. The person who was smiling complacently or the person who uttered the words. Both of you. Doesn't matter. In this case, both of you. Really.
Yeah,
and if you were smiling about it, that means you understood exactly what she was saying and chose not to say anything. And considering what, somebody like Gloria or Woba has been saying all this time around, how people are just misbehaving and have bad manners, and perhaps she may be right on some points. Smokey C. Bandit, you might be onto something. Kiari Peter says, kelele ya chura haizui ng'ombe kunywa maji. Sindio? Chura is what?
A frog.
A frog, right.
You know that roaring of the frog?
Yeah.
It's about the proverb. It's
right.
Okay.
Dissect my brain. Okay. Richard Odera says, good morning, Spice. Tuned in from Mikindani, Mombasa. Presidential elections in Kenya is hot air. The determining factor is constant. Which is what? What's the determining factor? Simon says, good morning. Tuned in from Dubai. A very good morning to you. Clinton Sereti says, good morning. Cherab sub-county in Isiolo County. I know you've never been here. That's interesting. I've been to Isiolo, the main town. Maybe far off a little bit. Maybe I was in Chiraba and I did not know that I was there. But it's great all the same that you're tuned in from there, and thank you for joining us. You Stop Her Dachi. That's an interesting name. A very good morning to you. Thumb, fist bump to you too, man. Good morning, Spice FM. How are you all this blessed Thursday? Kenyans, is it right for visitors to force us to consume their views? Is it? Ramtula says, please bring Joe Daly, not me. Excuse me? Bas.
I like how you have no words. But yeah, guests should not shout.
Bring Joe Daly. I've read.
Yes, I hear you. I agree.
Daily means every day.
Oh, every day.
Daily, like daily newspaper.
I thought I was too. Okay.
Daily motivation. daily means every day.
Every
I'm just
day.
saying. Yeah. Sasa say mimi nimesema.
But I also the previous comment.
Where you say guests should not shout. Just sit
come
down.
to my home. Hey, even if I'm misbehaving, it's my home. It's easier for you to leave.
Then tell me to keep quiet.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Okay.
Yes, but yeah. But yes, I hear Rahimtullah.
Good morning, beautiful souls. Blissful day, says Pamela Bilma. A very good morning to you. Karibu sana, everybody. Thank you for joining us this morning. Always lovely to have you here. Karibu, karibu, karibu. We're getting into conversations. What I want us to do now is take a quick break to see what's going to happen in the skies and on the roads. And then we're going to come back and look into the headlines of the papers and what's making the news at 28 minutes to 7. Good morning.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. The weather with Spice FM. This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Every now and then, fake news might pull a few strings, but when it comes to reporting the facts, there's only one tune we dance to, our own. For more than 100 years, The Standard has delivered insightful, fact-based journalism. And you can't fake that.
Mara ya kwanza kutoka Afrika Mashariki na Kati tunawaletea
ni kipindi ambacho kitakuwa kinaangazia tamaduni, mila na desturi huko.
This is more than weddings. It's love, tradition, culture and surprises all in one unforgettable journey.
Kwa mfano katika jamii ya Bajuni kutoka eneo la Pwani ni kwamba bwana harusi siku ya harusi anachapwa ama kutandikwa viboko na familia ya kina bibi kuashiria uvumilivu katika ndoa.
But what you don't know, ndio upate bibi Mkamba lazima upeleke mbuzi 3.
Inakisiwa kuwa rangi ama gauni la rangi hii ya kijani kibichi huvaliwa na mwanamke ambaye ni bikra.
Yote 9, 10 ni.
Niite Fiona Kenga, nitaitika.
Na wanaonipenda wananiita Riley Mwaliko.
Maziwa yakipungua, yote unapeleka kwa deri. Nyumbani unabaki bila. Ongeza maziwa ya ng'ombe wako ukitumia Pwani Bypass Fat. Pwani Bypass Fat, maziwa zaidi kwa deri na kwa familia yako.
Matibabu katika hospitali zote za umma itakuwa bure.
Welcome to Face the Facts and Shokala KTN.
Sasa wameanza kuingiza mambo ya afya kwa mambo ya siasa.
This show that dares to hold up a mirror to who we really are.
Don't fall into that trap ya William Ruto.
They tell us the healthcare system is working.
Wazee wajumuishwe katika mpango wa SHA.
They claim to wage war on corruption, yet dine with the corrupt.
Corruption ingekuwa inaweza kuwa managed. Kila mtu angekuwa na kazi.
Churches promise salvation, yet exploit the faithful.
Wahubiri wetu ndio hao bishops.
Institutions swear service, yet deliver frustration. Professions once sacred, doctors, lawyers, journalists, sometimes betray the very trust that sustains them. And while leaders boast of jobs and prosperity,
we have invested a lot of resources in matters of education.
Graduates still roam the streets.
White-collar jobs are unavailable. Even the cash loans are unavailable.
He cannot have money for bribery, but not money for the welfare of lecturers.
Every Friday, 7 p.m. and 9 p.m., we cut through the noise and measure society against its own pledges.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
As well, but let's listen to this point from the widow of Dr. Job Obwaka, Everose Chemtai. She said things changed along the way, and they called the office of the president, and he was ordered to withdraw a case in court he had filed. So this is when, of course, during the memorial service yesterday, and she was talking about what had happened in the lead up to her husband's arrest. And she said State House called and said withdraw this case because he had filed a case. He was brought in with a number of others. I remember she mentioned Professor Biakika and a number of others to essentially streamline the operations of the Nairobi hospital.
Correct.
Right? And she said along the line, he found out that things were actually not going right. And that he said, we've been called in to do this. We're not going to allow things to continue going south. So he brought this case. Now, during that time is when he was told, hey, kill this story. And he declined to kill the story. So she all but said the reason when the time that his troubles started is after he had been told to recall or withdraw the case, and he declined to do so. You see?
Yeah.
All right. So she talked about the issues there. Dr. Daniel Gikonyo in court yesterday said, I must be honest enough to specify that I did receive a call from our president asking about the status of the patient, Rigathi Gachagua, and I responded accordingly. Now, on the top of it, is there a problem if the president gave a call to the doctor that was attending to former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua? Would there be a problem?
Well, politically speaking, yes.
Okay. At the time, remember that he was to come back in the afternoon session for a delivery of the decision, which is when he fell ill.
Allegedly.
Okay.
But I think, the problem is not even the medical procedures or condition that he may have been in. It is a political interference that people are trying to read. Because if you are impeaching somebody, because the president must have initiated it, either directly or otherwise, to a point, why would you be bothered? He could argue, I was just concerned as a fellow human being. Wanted to know how serious it was. Also, was it a goof? Him trying to play a no-show. So many things come in play. But I think ultimately it's a political question more than a medical question. Also, I think the lawyers are trying to build up their defense because they really would love to tear down the impeachment motion. But I keep saying the impeachment is not a judicial matter per se. It is more of a political process, and it happened. It is what it is today. He stands impeached, and I see also remember the case of Mike Sonko when he wanted to vie, and then he was told you stand impeached, and they were trying to evoke I don't remember the article saying that you have to exhaust
all possible avenues of what is the word they use? Appeal.
Of appeal.
Yes.
But the real truth that holds is that you still stand impeached, even as you explore other means of relief. Even as you go to the Constitutional Court, the High Court, So the man stands impeached. It's okay for them to play it out in court. This is why we have the judiciary. It is fine. Everybody has to build their own defenses. Everybody has to, it's like you go to a hospital, they have to build a differential so they get a diagnosis. It is okay. So I'm okay with the doctor being called to the docs and answering the questions. I'm okay hearing the president called, but I'm waiting for the pronouncement. Because we cannot violate our constitution. Once you're impeached, you're impeached.
You're impeached.
Yeah.
It will be interesting to see. I was still trying to make the connection between this insistence on this particular phone call to Dr. Gikonyo and what relevance it plays in all of this. Because the implication here is very strong.
Yep.
That the call was made to indeed determine whether this gentleman was unwell or not. Do you see?
Yeah.
Not whether you were calling in to check on him. Hey, Joe, how is he doing? You know, I know you. I just wanted to make sure that the man is okay. Or were you trying to see whether he was truly sick and whether the doctor would disclose this information to you?
And
if that's the point that the legal team is trying to bring out here, that interference should not have happened. If that is the case, how does it play out exactly on these things that you're talking about? What does it have to do with the motion then that was raised for impeachment and not the process of everything else that happened?
And then there's an addendum to the doctor's statement. He said he had to consult the patient before giving a response. So he had to,
want me to tell them?
What should I say? I've received this call about you. What should I say? So then the patient allowed the doctor to disclose the information, to respond to the president. Or rather now, the impeached deputy president gave Dr. Gikonyo consent to tell the president that this is the status. And I think he said that we're still running tests. When we have a conclusive,
we'll come back to
you.
This is the thing. And so all of this and how it will play out will be very, very interesting.
So they were talking through the doctor. That's the point. That's the other point.
Yes, so the thing is you are unable to determine the intent at this point because one of the things that we know that in the court of law, you cannot tell me what happened somewhere else. You have to, it is your testimony that comes through. So the intent of whether this was a friendly phone call or whether there was an investigative point to this, like, let's see what's going on, because nobody can tell me that not everybody within that political sphere was keeping tabs of this process on that Thursday. I won't forget it was a Thursday, and everybody was kind of like, okay, so he's in hospital, what does that mean? They went back to the chamber and continued with the process, whether the man was in hospital or not.
And then legally speaking, is that okay? Because again, he had representation.
Yes, he did.
He had his lawyers. So did he have to be there in person? I think the pronouncement by the National Assembly at the time was that it was not important for him to be there in person. So whether he was taken ill or not,
wouldn't matter.
So we wait and see.
It'll be interesting to see how they're going to draw this. And imagine that's just the front page of the Standard. Looking into some other stories making the headlines this morning. If I can just get the page to turn, that would be fantastic. Okay, here we go. Progress. Top State House official pushed Dr. Obwaka to his death, says his widow. This woman took an opportunity yesterday to tell you what happened, and she said it very clearly. I may not ever get another opportunity to say to you. And she was speaking from a point of, this is a man that she's known for 46 years. She had no reason. She's apolitical. She had no reason to tell you these things if they were untrue. No reason from what she was saying. And you could see, I mean, you can be a judge of character by the way you see somebody. And she was genuine in her assertions. And she said, you know what? My husband, though he was aged, he was okay. That she could see the degradation as a result of this stress point, especially after he took on this particular case where he was saying no to some of the operations that he saw at the hospital. He was saying no. And she could see that is when things started to fall apart. And she said somebody pushed him to his death. Not literally pushed him down the stairs, but this happened as a result of that. I presented a letter from his doctor stating that he had had open heart surgery and that he could not sleep in the cold. But police said their hands were tied and that they were getting instructions. And she said it yesterday from the top. She said he had open heart surgery. He couldn't have slept in the cold. All I was asking for was for him to be given a mattress if you had to keep him in the cell overnight. And they said, kama ni huyo, hapana, kwanza huyo, hapana. Those are the words that she used. She was very clear that there was an external hand in the death of her husband.
He goes on to say he did not die a quiet death. He died wounded, not by disease, but by betrayal. He was hunted, harassed, and humiliated. He was arrested on charges no honest tribunal would entertain. He spent 2 nights in a police cell, said Mongela. He was paraded before a criminal court for offenses he never committed. I think what is key on the Nairobi hospital matter is that there was a lot of a political interest, political interference. It is unfortunate that such a man, fine, he may have been aged and ailing, but I think he was placed in circumstances and conditions because of his work, passion for his work. This is like death from passion, you know. He was just passionate and on wanting to see the institution come back to functionality and serve the people, right? But then some people had issues with that, and unfortunately, it has propelled, you know, his demise, in a manner of speaking. I know a matter of life and death is about, like, when it happens, but sometimes circumstances can be triggered to accelerate whatever problems could be having. As she says, it became more stressful. And I know my sincere condolences to her and the family, and also to the brother of the late doctor. But it is unfortunate that such good men who are trying to make our institutions be of upstanding and good standing are humiliated, you know, in front of the country. What crimes did he commit?
I don't know.
You know, it's unfortunate, rather.
It is very unfortunate that there's going to be interference in a particular thing. It's just weird after you've been given a job to do. I mean, it's the same executive power that called you in to streamline things here.
Yeah.
And now he's asking you to let go of the job that they asked you to do. And then, unfortunately, you die because of it. It's a painful thing, and you could see that it was painful, that it didn't need to happen.
Yeah.
It didn't.
Rest in power, Doctor.
Indeed. The Africa Forward Summit draws to a close with dance. That is done. And everybody's gone back to where they come from. I don't know what's going to happen after that, but okay.
Okay. I mean...
It's okay.
France, rather, has been kicked out of the western part of the continent. We know they are looking for a new home. Why were you so excited about hosting a colony? This is my opinion. I know we are now in the era of cooperation, where we're looking at multilateralism and bilateralism and all that, and I do agree. But there has to be a deliberate effort from us, African countries, to consolidate our strength and bargain with the rest of the world as equals. You know, the era where we continue placing ourselves as children who need rescuing, yet we are the ones who supply all the raw materials, all the human capital and resources. We know, like France, in my opinion, has built their economy and wealth on the backs of Africa.
Yep.
You know, sweat and backs of Africa. You know, sweat and blood has been shed.
Yes.
For them to be for France to be where it
is today.
And then they are kicked out of West Africa. We host them Kenya, and we are like very happy to do that. I did not see the Burkinabes here. I did not see people from Ivory Coast.
South Africa.
South Africa. Why? So this is new colonialism, as I say, and unfortunately, it is perpetuated by the current crop of African leaders that we have today. This has to stop. I saw what do you call him? Not president, but president of the African Union. And for once, I was ashamed. Because that's not how we want to.
For once, you were ashamed of the African Union?
Yeah, because I had hope.
I have never had pride in the puppetry of the African Union for the longest time.
He spoke very well.
Yeah, but remember the lion?
Oh.
Remember the lion?
Okay.
Yeah.
But having said all that, no, Africa needs to re-engineer how we engage with the rest of the world and where we position ourselves. We cannot keep shouting about need for a new financial infrastructure and architecture when we are bleeding of corruption in our own countries.
You're preaching to the choir, man, because I'm
glad it's done. I'm happy for the artists who performed there. I'm happy for the caterers who benefited from the
many
event.
Transport organizers who had their business.
I'm happy for that. But ultimately, I think we need to revise our principles of engagement as a continent. And then we have to agree. If you kick out a colony from one country within Africa,
how are you inviting it to the other side?
The other side,
folks.
And how is that a good thing?
And I keep saying, also, you need to go back and look. I gave the example yesterday. Like when you come and say you want to marry a girl, they tell you, okay, thank you, you have come, very good.
Yep.
Then they now send somebody to go to where you said you're from.
Yes.
To see if you people are okay. Is there madness? Is there perennial illness in your family? Are you people poor?
Yes.
Are you people in jail? So that we find out who you are.
Yeah.
Go and find out what is happening in France today. Look at the issue with the economy.
Yes.
Look at the issue with public dissatisfaction about how the government has been handling money for pensions. Go and see what is happening there.
The immigration policy, especially on Africans.
Yep. This has nothing to do with who shook hands with who. No. You want to look at really what's happening and how this table, build your own table. But, we could go on. The story on page 4 talks about Gachagua was genuinely sick during his impeachment. This is Dr. Gekonyo who's saying, no, I have no reason to lie. The man was unwell. Okay? Ousted but vocal, Gashagua's bold persona after impeachment. He's come out with a voice that maybe he didn't have before. Diplomatic goof is the question that's being asked on page 8. Why Kenya risks isolation after the French summit? The question is, why did you go ahead and do that? I thought it was interesting that during the Africa Forward Summit, we understand that Yoweri Museveni was being sworn in for his next term. He was in the company of President Samia Suluhu, who did not come for the Africa Forward. Did she come? She did not come for the Africa Forward Summit.
No. Only forward people.
In quotes, came. And so there were a number of other presidents that were at Yoweri Museveni's swearing in that were not in Nairobi. Now, whether you want to say that the invitation for Yoweri's swearing in came first and they were a bit busy, you can say whatever you want. But optics speak very loudly here. And so that certain people were not there. Ramaphosa declined to come for the summit.
Yes.
Ouattara of Cote d'Ivoire actually was there. But look, Guinea, Mali, Burkina were not there.
Yes.
They were not there. So you want to ask yourself the questions, why? And then some people who showed up for Yoweri Museveni's swearing in, also why were they there, not in Nairobi? Anyway, does Kenya actually risk isolation after the French summit? There's a question. Why the referral system is choking major hospitals as patients suffer. We're talking about SHA at some point this morning. This is one of the things that we're going to bring up. Because do you do people a disservice who come to a referral hospital and maybe they need stitches or maybe they have a diagnosis of malaria and you choose to treat them and charge them? And I say you should not. Don't treat them. Tell them where they should go. Because a referral hospital is a referral hospital. You're dealing with those issues that your level 2, 3, 4, in some cases even 5, are unable to handle. So don't take them in and then charge them because SHA won't accept their payment there. Tell them to, hang on just a little bit and go to any one of these hospitals which are in your network that are not a referral hospital.
Like stay in pain a little bit more because you have a failed health system.
But no. What I'm saying is, why tells you go to Kenyatta National Hospital with what? Even typhoid. Okay?
God forbid. Though.
God forbid. Because please wash your hands. However, they know very well that you go to Kenyatta with your SHA status, you should not be able to access that care for an issue which is not a referral. So what they're doing, rather than tell you to go to Mama Lucy or to go to, I don't know, Shalom, they tell you, we'll treat you, but we'll charge you and you have to pay cash, which is unfair, I think. Just tell them, tafadhali, here we're going to deal with these other cases. In order for you not to pay cash, that you can use your SHA, go to Shalom or go to Mama Lucy. Do you understand?
No, I don't, but I hear you.
Because they're charging them and they don't have the money.
The problem is this. By doing that, we'll be still sustaining the problem that we have. Health is a public good. It should be accessible to each and every person. Universal health coverage. But I like that you're talking about SHA after. So I rest my case. But we have a failed health system. You know what page 5 is also talking about of the Standard? Ruto extols Njoki's CV as he launches her bid for ICC seat.
Yes.
There is a tendency, and this is me speaking,
Joe speaking.
Joe speaking. And when President Ruto campaigns for you, you don't make it.
Ouch.
I'm just saying. I like Njoki. She's good. But hey, let's see how it plays out.
You must base these assertions on either experience or facts, sir.
Hey, remember the African Union?
Okay.
Is that enough?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. There's an end of I will just leave that with a smack.
Okay.
End of contentious policy as TSC plans to promote 30,000 teachers. Well, that's good. You can't do it sooner. Sifuna faction rejects ODM's call for 2027 candidates application. Yeah, they came out and said, they told their party members yesterday, everybody who wants to run for a position, I don't know, whatever, you need to bring those forward so that we can now deal with that. It seems like they're just doing things anyhow. I don't know.
Page 7 has the unaudited results, rather accounts of the cooperative bank. So any accountant of good note would bother to let you know at the end of the financial year how your accounts look like.
Yes.
So please, Kenyans, have one CS bandy know that accounts ought to be audited and publicized. I'm done. It's 7.
It's almost 7.
Yeah.
Where I cannot leave without telling you that the IEBC faces MP's backlash over 78.4 billion shilling election budget. I don't understand what people are drinking, but I want some. Because you went to them and said, we need 63 billion shillings to run this election, etc., blah, blah, blah. They said to you, you need 63. Okay, here's 47. You come back and say, actually, you know what? We need a 73. Oh, no, we need 78. They didn't give you the 63 that you needed initially.
No.
They said they don't have it. They've told you they can give you 47.
Yes.
But then you come back and say, yeah, maybe they were having a bad day. What we actually need
is 78.
Is 78. So, yeah, you're going to go ahead and get us that because we can't run this thing without that kind of money. But it's interesting because in all of this, they need to buy new Kim's kits. They're going to say that some of them are obsolete, but they've not told us how many they actually need and what's happening to the other ones which are not obsolete that you can actually use. They want to build a building because, you know, bombas ime bomolewa, so they cannot use that as an NTC. And I don't know why you need an NTC because we said that the result of the election is final at the what? Yeah.
Polling.
Yeah,
center.
But we still for the polling station, but we still somehow need to have an NTC, and they need IEBC house, something house. They call it something Gira, and I can't remember. Anyway, so they need to build that. I don't know if you're going to be able to get the money built up before 2027, but whomst am I?
But we don't need it for now.
According to them, that's why this thing has gone to 70.
Putting up a structure is important and streamlining our.
Yeah, they said Anniversary Towers doesn't work for them right now because, you know, it's in the middle of the city. Yeah. Anybody can just walk in anytime and people are just making noise. They don't need that. They need serene environment, a conducive environment for this work to be done. Don't you get it, Joe?
I don't. I won't. Okay. I refuse.
Oh, God.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so that's why they need the 78 billion. So MPs are like, are you crazy? We already told you that the 63 billion that you needed, we don't have, we're not going to give to you. And now you're coming back to ask for 78. That's why I'm telling you, whatever these folks be drinking, I want some because it gives you balls of steel. Like, yeah, but yeah, we still need 78. Somebody needs to tell IEBC. Hashtag tell IEBC. You're not getting 78 billion. And still, the country expects an election to be carried out and carried out properly. Sawa. Hey, that's what you need to understand. So, Izakale, I told you. You see what we're seeing? Those are the stories that are making headlines this morning in the Standard. Of course, looking at more stories as we get into it. Let's get into our conversations and find out now if this IEBC with the by-elections is a litmus test for later. Good morning, 7 a.m.
Spice up your life. This is the Situation Room, the only way to start